Okay, good morning, everyone. I I woke up very early this morning to see a very bright new day, and I thought to share my thoughts with us once again today. Yesterday, I couldn't do this video because I had a lot of engagements. As such, I decided I must do it this morning before anything else. Yesterday, lesson study was started on first birth. But with power. What does it tell me? If you have the natural ability or the natural tendency to do anything, you do it effortlessly. You don't need to coerce or force anybody into followership as a leader or to force anybody to do whatever with you. It just happens effortlessly, okay? So the lesson was titled on first but with power, and the crux of the lesson is that as a believer, you don't force persons to believe in what you believe in. You just do your bit and let every other person do what they think. Because it is the Holy Spirit that brings about conviction and not you. I can remember my late dad. At some point, he was so enthusiastic about the Sabbath truth that anybody who comes to the house, irrespective of why the person visited, my father must shove the Sabbath down the person's throat. And I'll tell him one of those days, hey, Daddy, I think your approach to the Sabbath is wrong. Why not listen to these people and know why they came instead of shoving the Sabbath down their throat? And he was angry with me at some point. He didn't see things from a perspective, but I'm sure it's one of these things that the lesson of yesterday addressed. Okay, so you don't force people into, or you don't force or coerce people into believing what you believe in. You do your part and allow the Holy Spirit to do its part. Now, what is the crux of the lesson this morning? As a believer, as a person, I believe the best way you can teach your lesson, the best way you can pass your message is to do it by example. I could remember while I was a student, once upon a time I wasn't in school and I sent a junior colleague to help me check my results when result was pasted. And as he would check all of the results, the first thing he was going to tell me in the chat was, boss, which church should I attend? I go to follow you to church. So the only way you can actually convince people is by your results. You don't need to shove the Sabbath truth down people's truth. You don't need to shove whatever your opinion, whatever you believe. Yes, you can air your opinion, but then you don't need to force them to believe in what you believe in. You just do your bit, and if they see you getting results, they will follow you. They will come.